Jessalyn Vander Stucken. I'm a senior here. Most of y'all know me. Anyway, my story isn't really the how I met Christ. It's kind of the rock bottom of my character. So yeah. All right, so small little activity. Raise your hand if in your high school, college, or workplace you have the sort of group that's the popular people. That, yeah, there you go. They seem like they have their whole life put together. For the ladies, they have cute bags, designer clothes, clean skin, makeup looks on point all the time, right? Yeah. For the gentlemen, they have the athletic ability, they get all the ladies, all the coaches look at them, yeah, okay. Now, raise your hand if you ever had the concern or the want to be one of those people. The people that had their whole life put together. Yeah, every one of you, raise your hand. There you go. All right, lastly, raise your hand one last time if you care about your rank or role or title or your status that you hold in your school, workplace. Yeah, okay. Well, I did too, and that was kind of my rock bottom. Yes, sometimes I still have the doubt of, whoa, what will they say of me if I do this, or what will they think of me, or are they whispering behind my back? Sometimes I still think about that, and I do doubt what I do. And sometimes I do fail in my character. Everybody fails. We're human. That's what sin is. We fail at everything we do most of the time. But I'm not here to tell you that I'm perfect, that I accepted Christ, I just led my path, I walked my path to Christ, and I'm big and bad, like I'm good, I'm perfect, and all of you are under me. No, that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to tell you about the time that I fell at my very lowest at my character, the place that I never want to go back to. So earlier I asked you if you had those popular kids in your school or workplace. I wanted that same thing one time. That want became my reality, and that's what I thought was my reality, but it really wasn't. It was the bottom of my character and who I'm supposed to be. The year before all of this happened, I accepted Christ. I went to a church camp with the mindset of making memories, making friends. I wanted absolutely nothing to do with God. I wanted to go to the Frio River and play in the water and meet people and make memories. I didn't want to learn about God. I knew who He was because of the parents and the house that I grew up in. I thought that I was saved, and like Hannah said, if I were to die that day, I thought I was going to heaven, but really, I didn't. I wasn't saved. I had absolutely no relationship with Christ, not a real one, at least. But at that church camp, I realized the lie that I was living before, and I did accept Christ as my Lord and Savior. So I was what most people would call a brand new Christian. I was shiny and excited about Jesus, high on like the church high that everybody talks about, the love for Him. But after leaving that camp, I moved to a new town, and that new town was just brand new. I was the new kid, and so that Jesus high that I was on kind of faded because I was insecure about where I was and who I was supposed to be, what group I was supposed to fit in. I cared about my status. So Satan kind of stepped into my life and put a little gloss over my eyes. So I was the new girl. I was the 8th grader that did just enough to survive her first year at the new school. But in 9th grade, I became a varsity cheerleader. Yay! I wore the uniform. I felt entitled. I felt powerful. We were the competitive cheer squad, so we were always being very professional. Then I made varsity track. Then I made varsity softball. So I felt like I had all of this talent to just flash around. Just, I made varsity, I did this, I did that. I am slowly building my way up on the high school food chain, basically. Some people saw the change in how I treated people. They tried to talk me into, hey, you're not doing this correctly. You're treating these people like they're nothing, but I didn't listen to them. So my sophomore year came around the next year. I again made varsity cheer. I felt that power again, and I felt that title and status of being that popular kid. I started to see myself above others. I started to judge others for who they were. The first thing that popped into my head to those people that I thought were lower than me was judgment. Now, the worst feeling that I can have. When someone walked into the room, I would see them. If I thought they were lower than me, judgment. Just look at what they're wearing, look at how they act. They don't have any skill on sports, nothing. If they were on my level of what I thought was just all, hey, hi, how are you doing? Talking about sports, just what popular kids, what you think would do. But you know what happened? God got a hold of my life. He slapped me right back into reality. He showed me that what I was doing and how I was treating people was not who I was and who I needed to be. So I started to fix it. I was like, okay, God, obviously that's not who I'm supposed to be talking to or how I'm supposed to be treating people, so I'll fix it. Kind of separated myself from some people, started realizing that power that I felt, I needed to turn away from it. So I kind of took myself away from some activities. I found myself a new correct group to be hanging around. I found a mentor, and most importantly, I found accountability partners that kept me in line. And when I started easing off that road, they were like, get back on the road. Come on, let's go. But little did I know that when I fell off the road, and the reason that I fell at my rock bottom of character, God was going to do a little funny thing. And I found out that everybody probably knows that God has a funny humor, just like real funny. He does little things. But he kind of switched the little roles that I was living. So I went from being what I thought was way up here, popular group, to way down here. I was a nobody. Luckily, God moved my family to Groveton, probably the biggest blessing. I had a better education, better friends, better foundation. But it was not an easy route. It was not an easy move coming here. My family went through a lot when we came here. But instead of me being at the top, I was at the bottom. I slowly became the whispers of the hall. Everything that someone would say, if it wasn't to my face, it was about me behind my back. And it didn't feel good. That's one thing that everybody probably knows about, that it sucks to be talked about, especially when you're the only thing that they're talking about. But I had friends turn their back on me. I had coaches treat me differently, teachers treat me differently, and the town treat my family differently. But having my life switched around, having my life and the roles and my stupid status completely go opposite, it made me want to be a better person. I knew that I needed to be a better person, but feeling like the people that I used to judge made me want to be better even more. Knowing how I treated the people made me change my point of view completely. And I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for God just completely changing my life. I wouldn't be telling you this story, and not many people know this side of my life because I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of how I treated people. I'm not proud of how I looked at people. I am definitely not proud of the status that I held myself to when really I was supposed to be equal to every single one of y'all. The main lesson in the situation that I had to kind of tell y'all about is that my life wouldn't have turned around if I didn't find the love for others. That nobody can treat people correctly how they should be treated without knowing the love you should have for them. But without that, you have to know the love God has for you. That you can't strive to be better, and I can't walk down the halls feeling good about myself, calling myself a Christian, and telling y'all that I love Jesus and do this in the correct way without actually showing it. So I try every single day to be Jesus in skin. That's what my mom always says. Every day, whenever she used to drop me off at school, be Jesus in skin, show Jesus. That was the last thing that I heard from her before I left. That I strive every day to not walk down the halls because I'm a varsity volleyball player, or I'm a varsity softball player, or I try to do my best with grades. I don't walk down the halls keeping my head held high because of that. I know that I have a better status of being a Christian, and I hope that I show that to y'all every day. That I think there was a point last year that my name got thrown out into something, and so I went to the person, I said, "Did you actually believe this?" And she looked at me and said, "No, Jessalyn, I didn't believe that. You know why? Because you're a Jesus freak. So why would you do that?" And instead of looking at her and saying, "Jesus freak, I'm a freak now, huh? What?" and being offended, I was very proud of myself, knowing that I had a title and a status of a Jesus freak. And I would much rather be called that than be called a popular person. That lasts longer in my heart, and when I die and go to heaven for eternity, being a Jesus freak means so much more to Christ than it does being a popular person. So I hope that that kind of story kind of touched someone. That was my point of it. But like Hannah, I kind of wanted to share this story with y'all that my sister told me. It has nothing to do with what I just talked about, but it gave me goosebumps when I heard it. So my older sister Brittany, she's a sophomore in college, but this previous summer she went to East Asia on a mission trip with a group of her church friends. So when she got back, she told us all these stories. Honestly, I don't remember half of them, but I remember one of them because I had goosebumps whenever she told me. So she told me about this time that her and her partner person, they always had to stay in groups. So her partner, I think her name was Lena or something, I don't know. But her friend that she walked around town with, they met this girl. And for the previous week, she felt very discouraged because she would walk up to people and she'd say, "Hi, do you speak English?" And if they say no, then they just kind of walk away. But if they say yes, they're like, "Well, hi, we would like to talk to you and about Jesus." And no, I'm gonna go away because they're not supposed to really tell people about Jesus. So whenever somebody comes up to them trying to tell them, they don't want to get in trouble. So they're like, no. So they felt very discouraged because she would come up to people and no, keep walking away. Felt very discouraged because no one wanted to listen to them. Well, they were walking by and they had code words. And so some of the code words for Bible, it was the word. So you want to read the word today. Or for my favorite is for God, it was dad. So, all right, good night, Dad, kind of thing. That's what they said instead of God or Jesus. And the word for Christians was, what was it? Oh, I don't remember now. Darn it. It was cool. It was cool. So if you're a Christian, then, hey, you're really cool. Are you cool? Kind of thing. And so she was walking by, and this girl walks by, and her shirt says, "I am cool." Well, she didn't notice it, but her partner did. And she kind of bumped her on the side and was like, "Hey, look at that." And so she looked at it and was like, "What?" I don't get it. And then so she was like, cool, we're cool, maybe she's cool, kind of thing. So she's like, oh. And so they walk over there, and they're like, hi, do you speak English? My name's Brittany. This is, I forgot her name, but anyway. So they talk to this girl, and they ask if she wants to go to dinner, because that's all girls do over there, is they eat, go shopping, and they study, because their grades mean literally everything over there. When, I don't know, it's weird. But, so they ask, they ask to go to dinner. So they go to dinner, but three times that she took somebody with her, but they wanted her alone so that they could talk to her about Christ. So they go to dinner, and they sit down. Well, they're the only people in the restaurant. And so the waiter, the cook, and the busboy are always just like, oh, Americans, let's listen to what they have to say. And so they're sitting there. And so since they're sitting there and listening, they can't talk about Christ because, not allowed. And so they trade off whenever they talk to someone. So one will be talking to them, having a conversation, and the other one will be sitting here praying about, okay, God, like, let me kind of have a connection with this person kind of thing. So my sister's praying as her partner is talking, and she's like, okay, God, we really got to talk to this girl. I think that there's something here, but there's people listening, so give us a doorway, And she looks up and looks around, and the busboy, the cook, and the waitress are asleep. All three of them fast asleep. And she nudges her partner and is like, hey. And so they look around and they start, okay, well, here's this APP and this is blah, blah, blah. So the girl accepts Christ, like, amen. The girl accepts Christ. And after that, they pray about it, say amen. My sister looks up and they're all awake. Like, how crazy is that? That God just like, doorway, tell her about Christ. Give me a student, give me a follower. And now she's a daughter of Christ. Crazy, right? Yeah. So my sister gets to talk to them back and forth through email, not a lot, but she gets to, and it's cool, and I think she's going back next summer, possibly, I don't know, but I'm out of time. So here's Zach.